So I'm not sure that this was quite what the makers of the Dragon Touch camera had in mind when they made the sports camera. But yeah, I've attached it to the Pram, and I thought I'd take the camera and the Pram and the baby out and go on some walks around Croydon. Possibly going to look a bit weird with a sports camera attached to my Pram. I guess this is where I wanted to start. Yeah, so this is like this little kind of hidden passageway down the edge of the tram line in South Norwood, near South Norwood Country Park. I say hidden, there's loads of people out strimming today and walking down it, so it's not that hidden. But normally it's really quiet down here. Just gonna squeeze in here. There's a tram coming. There's a tram. Not being really on the tram since the lockdown. There's a group of people here, I'm going to let them go first. So this is South Norwood Country Park, which my partner tells me used to be a wastewater treatment facility back in the Victorian era, I think. Hello! So baby Magpie normally naps all the way through our walks, but this morning he's looking quite lively, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so I think it used to be a sewage treatment place, basically, back in, I don't know, Victorian era. And my partner likes to tell the story of how people local to this area used to grow vegetables in the sewage of the more wealthy people closer into town, and then they enjoyed growing the vegetables and selling them back to people. So selling the wealthy vegetables grown in their own excrement. It's kind of a fun story. So the country park's kind of crisscrossed with lots and lots of lovely little pathways. Some of them are more kind of out in the open. And some of them are a little bit more enclosed. I tend to prefer the enclosed ones. I'm not a huge fan of the sun, but luckily it's a bit cloudy this morning. Although it's going to get hot later, I think. It's kind of mid-July at the moment. So all of the spring flowers are kind of on their last legs, really. Grasses are beginning to look yellow. And still lots of green in the trees. I'm going to come back in the autumn and try and do a video when the trees begin to turn, maybe. I'll work out how many of the trees turn. Hello, darling. Ooh, where should we go? Should we go down this little kind of fairy tale path? So, got a pram with these huge wheels on. We were given this pram by a friend of mine who's had 2 kids and wanted to pass it on, really, rather than sending it off to landfill. It's got these enormous kind of inflatable back wheels, which means that I do try out the paths that might not be so sensible for the average pram. But yeah, so this little path here, you can get a pram down it, assuming your pram's got nice big wheels. There's a section here that we're just about to go into, which all the trees, all the bushes, I think there's lots of hawthorn and there's oak, kind kind of bend over the pathway and shelter it. A bit like stepping into a fairyland maybe. Really enjoy bringing my son down this little bit. I'm not sure that he's quite sure what's going on yet. He's only a few months old, still getting to know the world, and I try and bring him out into this kind of green space. I grew up in the countryside, and so bringing out my son in the city feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit unnatural to me, but we are where we are. And the weather's alright. I don't like to walk in the heat, and I don't like to walk in the rain with the baby. But when the weather's good, I pretty much walk every day. I think I'm going to need to expand my range, so anyone got good suggestions for nice walks around Croydon? Right. It's a bit bumpy up here, so if you have a normal pram with little hard wheels, you'll probably really struggle. But we've managed. First time I took the baby up here, he gave me such a look like, oh mummy, what are you doing to me? But he's used to it now, I think. It's really bright today and I couldn't find my sunglasses. I've got a hat, but I don't enjoy wearing hats. Okay. So I'm going to go to the right. Loop down. There's like a little kind of playing field not very far from here. I like to do a little loop around there, and then there's a nice little kind of secret passage down the back which takes you along the train line, which again is very woody and very shaded. I've been writing this novel for about forever, guys. 7 years, I think, is the number. 7 years. Anyway, this a couple of weeks ago I finally managed to get a full draft done and began to think, oh yeah, maybe I can actually finish. And that's exciting. So one of the things I always find is it's easier for me to think things through when I've had a good walk. And there's scientific evidence, I think, that supports, getting out, going for a swim, going for a walk, and helping your brain process things. So I'm a big fan of a walk to help loosen my thought processes. I've been writing this novel, as I said, for quite a long time. And I've got this character in it who's just discovering that she might not be entirely human, that she might be a little bit, she's a god basically. But not an omnipotent god, more like a kind of Roman style god where you have associations with different parts of the environment. Alright. She's a goddess. God? I don't know. Strongly associated with the forest and with the kind of lush, green, shady spaces. Finds the sun really kind of tricky to deal with. A bit like me, really. I'm not a huge fan of the sun. Always forget to put suntan lotion, always forget my sunglasses. Always get too hot. Never wearing the right clothing. Anyway. This is like this kind of playing ground, which is quite nice. But no shade anywhere. It's a nice kind of warm today though. Get some vitamin D. So that's a good thing, don't they, for COVID. The more vitamin D you have, the better. Although if that's true or not, I don't know. No one seems to know, do they? Right, so just head towards the train line, and there's this kind of secret little passageway that's quite narrow. And you think maybe you won't get a pram down there, but I've managed to get a pram down there several times. You just have to hope that there isn't another pram coming the other way. There's even a funny little lamppost there. So, the sun's still quite bright. Yeah, someone coming down with his dog. I'm just going to wait in the shade here for a minute. Yeah, so this passageway is a bit magical, if you're into such things. Alright, tracks the line of the tramway in Croydon. I think that one goes off to Elmer's End. Big Tesco's there. Remember when we used to go to supermarkets? Yeah, so we finally got to a bit where Bob can see out without getting a big load of sunshine in his face, and he's asleep, which is kind of nice. This big old oak tree up here, can you see that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. God, I miss the countryside. Loads of pine cones and elderberries along here as well, and brambles, loads and loads of blackberries, although it looks like someone's been through and had all the ripe ones. I'm not sure if you'd want to eat them when they're right next to the tram, I don't know whether they would be polluted or not. Yeah, I really love this little kind of secret back kind of trail, I guess. Just reminds me of walking in the woods in the countryside where I grew up. I'm quite into these little kind of foresty spaces in cities, you know. So this was not a foresty space to begin with. It was, you know, an industrial sewage processing place, wastewater. And now it's this beautiful nature reserve. It just goes to show, you know, nature takes back what we just leave alone. If we stopped interfering with so much stuff, nature will take it all back eventually. It's quite a nice thought, really, isn't it? So this is the first one of these little videos, and it's a bit strange actually. When I first kind of started watching YouTube, I saw a lot of the kind of YouTubers who kind of do that thing where they sit down and talk to the camera, and I just thought, wow, I can't imagine having anything to say in that way, you know, confronted with the camera in that way. And I just thought, well, this YouTuber kind of thing isn't for me, really. And then recently I've been sitting nursing my son a lot, watching videos of people who do gardening and permaculture and John Rogers' wonderful walks through the countryside. And I saw his walking videos and I thought, oh yeah, maybe I could do that. His face is in them a lot. I don't really, because I don't really have a hand free to actually film myself while I'm walking about. That's the tram. Maybe off to Wimbledon. Maybe off to IKEA. So yeah, I thought, having seen those walking videos, maybe I could do something similar, and it might help me get to know the area, because we moved to Croydon from Poplar in December, and I was really heavily pregnant then, and really tired, like really exhausted. Actually, I had a really exhausting pregnancy. I had an IVF pregnancy at 38, ladies. It was hard going, so I'm just going to say that. And it's one of those things, you know, you talk to the doctors and say, I'm really tired, and they say, oh yes, you're really, well, that's normal, you know. And I'm like, is it normal to be so disabling tired? I don't know. I'm not sure if I was taken seriously, anyway, put it that way. So I didn't get out much. Then we've had lockdown, so I also haven't been getting out much. And I thought maybe we did some nice walks and made some videos. You know, I've got my GoPro. It's not a GoPro, but you know, I've got my fake GoPro. Maybe that would be a way of helping me get to know the area a bit. So if you are a resident of Croydon, or you know Croydon, and you can suggest somewhere good to walk with a baby and a pram, please let me know. I'd love to know. Oh, I love this little stand of trees here. It's like this, you know, maybe this was an approach to some grand something at some point. I think it's gorgeous, you know. I don't actually know what kind of trees these are, which is really sad. I used to know all the trees when I grew up in the countryside. I used to know all of them. It's funny how memory just lets go of the bits that aren't necessary. Use it or lose it, guys. So this is like possibly my favourite little bit of the loop of this walk. There's a lake to the left here that you can't see because of the way they designed the park to allow lots of kind of reed and tree life to grow up around it. But it's this really beautiful little lake. So we're just going to see these beautiful big oak trees. They're actually quite young, these ones. Oak trees can live for hundreds, if not thousands of years, whereas these ones, I think, probably a couple of hundred. Some of them not even that. Love this little stretch of the country park. It's got a whole bunch of oak trees and willow trees. And it's so shady and cool. And it really kind of reminds me of being in the countryside. Of course, the sirens, not so much. Ever-present sirens letting you know that you're still in London. Still in London, guys. I had to have IVF to have my baby, and me and Mr. Magpie, we just keep saying, aren't we just so lucky that it worked when it worked. We were able to have the baby. We were able to move to a house, an eccentric house that needs a lot of work, but to a house, and we were able to have our baby and get home and get discharged 3 weeks before lockdown. So we weren't having to go into the hospital during the kind of real surge that happened around here in Croydon. Yeah, really lucky. See, you know, when you come and you walk in a park, like kind of most days, I do most days, you start seeing the same faces, which is kind of nice. It's kind of comforting, you know? You start beginning to feel like you know a place a little bit. Yeah. Quite like to be able to do that in some other bits of Croydon, you know. I really love that park, because there's lots of kind of things that I didn't expect to see, I guess, in a park like this. So it's the wrong time of year, you can't see them now, but there's wild roses, big clumps of wild roses, and apple trees, and cherry trees. Probably, leftover of when people used to grow fruit and vegetables here and sell it back. So, yeah, I really love this park. And there's kind of these big kind of marshy spaces. You have to go a different route if you see those, but full of flowers and reeds and irises in the spring. I'll come back in the spring and do a video of all the spring flowers. I really like the changing seasons in Britain. I love watching the difference in the kind of landscape as we go from spring to summer to autumn to winter. Love a bit of snow. We've not had snow for years. Love a white Christmas. Never had one. Hope Bub gets to have a white Christmas. If you can really put out that I've never had a white Christmas as a child. That was when I lived in the countryside as well, back in the Cotswolds. Yeah, some wonderful skies today. You can see that. I have to check this footage later and see how we go on. Last little loop of the walk today. Some days I do a much longer one, but today I'm just going to do a short one. I was checking out the equipment and I left it too late to leave, really. It's got a bit hotter than I like. The other person who I find really kind of inspiring in terms of just YouTube stuff is the guy who does Cruising the Cut. I think his name's David. Love his videos. I remember feeling maybe, that was the kind of video I could do, except, I don't have a narrow boat. It's a small wrinkle in the situation. But yeah, I don't know if you know his stuff, or if you don't know his stuff, you should go over and have a look. I'll put his link below. It's so kind of calming and serene, he takes a camera on the front of his boat and you can go for miles and miles up the canals. Love Britain's canal. This kind of gift to us from our industrial past, these serene, beautiful spaces. We're there for an entirely different reason. Right, I'm going to turn off here and head back home because it's warm. But it's been lovely to have a chat. I don't know if you can, I don't think I'll be able to get it in, but there's on the bridge back there's a little sign. Someone's kind of had a little sign made that says beware of the troll. I've got a photograph of it, I'll put it in here. I love it. So imaginative. Walking through this kind of little secret, it's not that secret, but this little secret woodland pathway that's kind of covered in smatterings of light through the trees. Sometimes you see little cats along here, stalking things, chasing things. We've got 2 cats. They're house cats, and we adopted them when they were like 6, so I don't think we'll ever be able to get them used to being outside safely. It's not safe for them to be around roads and cars, but they love sitting and watching the birds out the window. Anyway, my cat yesterday caught and ate a spider while I was in the bath. It was quite an exciting moment. See this? Look at that enormous silver bird. Pram pan. How fun is that? Yeah. So I think I'm going to sign off at this little bit of the walk. Heading back into this funny little housing estate. Back into the real world.